Project Lore 10 Days of Night.
All right, people. Project Loreites out there. You wanted a Death Knight, you're getting a Death Knight. So here we go. I'm going to straight up go with a Tauren, because I believe Taurens are the biggest, baddest mothers in the entire game. And they suit me. They look good, like me. So here we go. I'll make this guy, I'm gonna make him a dark dude. I'm gonna make him pretty dark. It's because he's a Death Knight. Give him some black horns. I'm gonna go easy on the facial hair. I don't like all that hanging stuff, the big old like knots and hair and whatnot. So here we go. I'm gonna give him a great name. I'm gonna go deep into my list of names. And I'm gonna go with Robert. All right, that name is unavailable. Let's go to the most powerful name that I know. Steve, name unavailable. Actually, excuse me. We're gonna go with Jimmy, the pet of Dorkins, whose name is unavailable. Is there any name that is available? Because let me tell you something. So far, I'm pretty pissed that the 3 names that I was stuck on are gone. I'm going big style. I'm going with Big Wang. This is a sports bar that I recently went to in North Hollywood, my hometown. That place is badass. Let's do it. Guarantee it works. It did. All right, folks, we're entering the world. Let's do that now. I'm gonna shut up for a second, and I'm gonna let the man who does the intro to the game talk for a moment, because he's got such a beautiful voice.
A hero. That's what you once were. You stood boldly against the shadow and purchased another dawn for the world with your life. But the evil you fought is not so easily banished. The victory you claimed, not so easily held. For now, the specter of death looms above the world yet again, and it has found new champions to bring about its final reign. Knights of Darkness, wielding rules of death.
I'm the Knight of Darkness.
Bound by the will of the Lich King. This is the hour of their ascension. This is the hour of your dark rebirth.
So I don't know if you heard what that guy just said, but I'm pretty much a badass because I'm like a Death Knight. All right, folks, let's start it up. Let us go to our first quest, which is standing right in front of us, and it's the Lich King. Okay, wait. This is the Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm now standing in front of the dude. Does that freak you guys out too? And he just turned around and he's looking at me. Okay, he's sort of pissed looking, kind of big. The first quest is called In Service of the Lich King. Let's see what our quest objective here is. He's telling me to go ahead and report to the instructor Razuvius in the heart of Arcarus? Acarus? Acarus? It's Acarus. So let's go ahead and go over to this guy. Let's accept the quest.
Must die.
That's the Lich King. He's gonna keep talking. He's still talking. I'm like running away from the guy. I'm running away from the Lich King right now. He's talking to me, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. I got quests to run, okay? Bro, we got it. I'm the Death Knight. There's lots of others. I'm not the only one. All right, so I'm here with Instructor Razuvius, and I'm gonna go ahead and complete the first quest. 825 XP, feels pretty good. All right, so our second quest is the Emblazoned Rune Blade. The single most important piece of equipment to a Death Knight is the Rune Blade. It is through the Rune Blade that a Death Knight commands the powers of frost, blood, and the unholy. The Rune Blade also acts as a vessel to store the Death Knight's runic power, which is what I use to do all my spells. The time has come to create your first Rune Blade, so search the weapon racks on this floor and locate a battle-worn sword. Once found, take the sword to a nearby rune forge and use it to create a Rune Blade. So right off the bat, I'm getting a badass weapon. The rack is just to our right here by this huge skull, this fiery skull business. And you go over and right-click on that to pick up the battle-worn sword. And I need to go to the rune forge. I need to forge it. So I'm going to forge it. So I guess I'm going to right-click on the battle-worn sword and use it to forge the blade. Forging the blade, that's what I do. All right, now we have a rune blade, or a rune-bladed sword. We're gonna go back to the Resuvius, the myth, the man with the big shoulder pads. Okay, we'll complete the quest, and I'm going to now learn, having completed this quest, rune forging. So now I can rune forge. This is the next quest. It's called Rune Forging, Preparation for Battle. And our objectives here says Instructor Resuvius in Ebenhold, where I am, has commanded you to use your rune forging ability to engrave a rune of your choosing upon your rune soul blade. You may freely replace the engraving upon your weapon at any time, so long as you're near a rune forge. So I'm going to now go forge the blade in whatever method or whatever fashion I want. And the cool thing about the rune blade is that you can fashion it any way you want at any time. So we're going to go ahead and forge this bad boy. It's now on my back. And how the hell do I forge my sword? Oh, here we go. You go into your, you go into your spell book, grab out your rune forging spell, and then that'll allow you now, I'm going to click on that, and that'll open up my ability to rune forge. So it's sort of like, it's almost like a profession in a way. What are we going to do? We have two options so far. We have Rune of the Cinder Glacier or Rune of Razor Rice. No, Razor Ice. I said Razor Rice. I was wrong. It's Razor Ice, which makes a little bit more sense because Razor Rice is sort of awkward and stupid and wouldn't have anything to do with World of Warcraft. Rune of Cinder Glacier affixes your rune weapon with a rune that has a chance to increase the damage by 20% for your next 2 attacks that deal frost or shadow damage. Modifying your rune weapon, okay, well that, I already know the rest of that. And then Razor Ice affix your rune weapon with a rune that causes 2% extra weapon damage as frost damage and has a chance to increase frost vulnerability. I don't like the frost business. I like the Cinder Glacier. I like the 20% extra damage there. So we're gonna go ahead and engrave the sword. So you go ahead and click on whatever it is you want to use, and then you click on the soul blade, and that will start the engraving process. All right, sweet. And now we are rolling with a engraved sword. And it is dripping like green sauce off of it, which is kind of cool. All right, so let's complete this quest. You go back to Resuvius once that's done. Complete that quest. Cool. So, all right, we're to our next quest. The Endless Hunger. I'm still with Resuvius. I guess this dude and I are going to be hanging for a while. So, objective. Instructor Resuvius has commanded you to free an unworthy initiate and then kill the unworthy initiate in cold blood? What kind of business is that? I'm like going to let this dude go and then just massacre him? Yeah, it is what I'm going to do. So here we go. So I'm going to accept the quest, and now I'm going to go down into this pit of despair where all these initiates are standing chained up and kneeling before me because I am the lord of this area. And I'm going to pick one to fight and then kill. So let me go over to the smallest thing that I can find. Yeah, how about this little guy here? This little gnome. See, he looks real friendly, but he's about to get worked. So I'm going to go over to the skull on the wall, which has the chains that are attached to him. I'm going to right-click it and open him up. Or now he just picked up a weapon, and he's... Okay, he's pissed now. So I'm going to do some stuff to him, hopefully. Okay, I'm doing spells now, which I really don't know exactly what they're doing, but I'm hopefully going to kill him. We'll talk about that when this is over, when this dude is toast. I'm definitely working it, that's for sure.
I don't have the target.
He's dead. All right, so now we're going to go back to Resuvius. I'm basically gaining a bunch of health from my blood presence, which I don't know what that is. These are things you'll learn as time goes on, I'm sure. All right, so we just beat that dude up, and we used a myriad of spells which use my runic power. And I'm just going to go kind of over a couple of those real quick. First thing we have is the Death Grip. The Death Grip is basically a ranged taunt or pole. It's kind of strange, but it essentially harnesses unholy energy and forces the attacker to come towards me, and it forces it to fight me for 3 seconds. So it's cool. It's basically a warrior thing. The second thing we have is Icy Touch, which uses 1 frost rune. Runes are kind of something we'll get into, but use 1 frost rune, and that just kind of does some frost damage. Then we have the Plague Strike, which uses 1 unholy rune and does shadow damage. And then we finally have the Blood Strike, which uses 1 blood rune and does weapon damage. So it's just main damage. Spells that we have. The Death Coil uses runic power, which is only built up once you've started using runes or runic spells. So once you've gathered enough runic power, which in this case the Death Coil is 40 runic power, then you can blast them with Death Coil. That's what we got so far. So let's turn this quest in. And we got 12,250 XP. Pretty badass. I'm almost like a third of the way up to level 56, crazy enough.